Hello there, everyone. This is my favorite time of the month as I react to public speakers from the MTA committee meetings. I am Andrew Pollock, the host and the creator of the Andy's Randomness YouTube channel. We are going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Couldn't watch CPOC because I was traveling home. I am recording at 4:03 p.m. on Monday, October 21st, 2019. So, today was just stressful getting home because what happened was the MTA gave a little bit of agita to everyone because New York City Transit ended early today. They actually ended early today, which is rare. They went on from 10 to noon. So very odd. Very odd that happened today. One notable absence board member today was Dr. Susan Metzner. She was not present today. I didn't see her, so hey, I wish Susan the best, and I hope she'll be back next month. But I'll mention that in November. I'm glad to see that Susan's back because, we have love-hate relationships with everybody with the MTA. And we have to be respectful. So, anyhow, the reason why I noticed that Susan was absent was because Kevin Law was actually the chair of the Joint Metro North Long Island Railroad Committee meeting earlier this morning. So before we get into that, like I normally do, I need to discuss with you all how stressful my ride was coming home today. So, this morning, didn't have a problem with the Q46. Really didn't have that much of a noticeable issue on the E-train today. But I went to Penn Station because I had so much free time on my hand. It was like, I wanted to leave early because I didn't want to deal with traffic. And I ended up dealing with traffic, first of all. Because what happened was, the Long Island Railroad was actually cross-sonoring on the Port Washington branch today because there was a switch problem. A switch problem. Which is crazy. So, what happened was, the Long Island Railroad had the cross honor today. So, yep, look at that, fail. Fail. This was at Flushing Main Street, folks, not 34th Street Hudson Yards. And the reason why that was, I was waiting in the waiting room at Penn Station, waiting for my normal 2:11 eastbound train to Long Beach. And guess what happened? I heard on the CB radio from the guy in the front, I'm like, are they cross-honoring on the 7? So I decided, wait a minute, maybe I should just ask just in case. And the guy confirmed to me. And I'm like, listen, I want to come back here on Thursday, so I'll just use my Jamaica ticket on Thursday. It's like, fine. So, yeah. And I'm not going to say why I'm going to be in Manhattan on Thursday. There'll be a later upload regarding that, maybe next week. But there's more content. I'm going to promise that. I'm going to work on it on Thursday. I just won't say where yet. But anyhow, see, we clarified it earlier. So, also had problems in the A train. Signal problems. Can you believe this? If I had known the Long Island Railroad was cross-honoring at Jamaica. What time was this at? Yeah, this was at 1:40. If I had known the Long Island Railroad was cross-honoring to Jamaica, I didn't have to go to Flushing today. But, let's figure this out. Alright. Could have just went... Yeah, exactly. I could have just went to Jamaica and asked them, you guys cross-honoring today? And I would have maybe had a different trip home, but nevertheless, I wanted to do something different today, and it sort of paid off. So look at this. I don't even know when was the first time, because they said 7 trains. So poor miscommunication right there. Poor miscommunication, So we'll take a look at my fan mail account for one more example, then we'll go right to the board video. And I just want to quickly... Oh, they have an update. Okay, that's odd. Just want to connect to my other network for a second here. I want to connect to the stronger Wi-Fi, so let me just make sure that we have it right here. So, the last update I had was 7 train services still running with delays in Queens while there was an ongoing switch problem. See, the email notification system got it right. I'll give them credit on that. But Twitter, man, somebody really had a typo on Twitter today. Unbelievable. You cannot make this stuff up. So, let's hide the chat. I don't even want to pull it up. So, let's watch Pine Power LI's comment from Long Island Railroad Metro North. And like I do with everybody, I will be reacting. So, let's see what Pine Power LI had to say today to the Long Island Railroad Metro North Committee.
Your social media team lied to us when they said we'd see no more mainline shutdowns for the rest of this year. As I see, there's one for November 16th and 17th in this book. This is not a way you treat your riders. And just like the last time, no shuttle buses are being provided in place of train service. NICE is not an alternative, especially when it doesn't show up. Like on October 5th, coming home from taking the train to Garden City, and then the N4041 didn't show up, and I wound up having to walk 30 minutes to get home to Mineola. No one is taking buses to Hempstead. I don't think you have any idea of how unsafe that area is. Not to mention, it is further away from Mineola than Garden City. Mr. Ing said last time when busing was provided, it didn't get much ridership. Well, that is another lie. I have photos to prove that there was plenty of people, and I will share them with you. Reading over this book, it is assumed most people find other means. What about those who can't? You have an obligation to provide alternative transportation. What do you expect how do you expect people in Westbury to get to Garden City? I have this bus schedule. See for yourself. Last bus from Hicksville is just after 10 p.m. on Sunday. NICE was not providing extra service. It must be a nice little racket you have going on with the taxis, Ubers, and Lyfts, so stranded people get ripped off. And then to say I have a perception that we are being discriminated against. It is hardly a perception when everyone else gets substitute busing except us. And then to completely blow off my concerns about safety at Mineola and talk about Babylon. That's some chutzpah. What you are doing is an attack on my life. I need safe, reliable transportation to get around. It is bad enough that you have the goal not to honor reduced fares for us disabled on the morning trains. Most of you have no idea what we go through and only care about your own kind of Wall Street finance professionals. You have no heart the way you treat us. You're not getting away with this. And if some politician from Metro North can go over their time like the last time, so can I. That's some double standards right there. And I want to give my thanks and appreciation to the railroad employees who get us there safely. They should not be demonized. And I give Jano Lieber credit for engineering this project. It needs to be done. But we need our shuttle buses, and I won't rest until we get them.
All right, so once again, that was Pine Power LI. So very excellent points today. Thankfully, it didn't end up like it did last month, where he called the board members snobs, which, of course, was a very controversial statement that was said to everybody last month, which, for the record, perception was clearly stated in the committee book for October. I completely agree with Pine Power LI on that remark. But sometimes we have to be civil. And growing up, I've learned that we have to try to get things done. It's like the government. You know how Democrats and Republicans can't get along? Same thing with the MTA. You have people who have different ideas, and they don't want to get it done. They're closed-minded, and they feel that this is the way we got to do it. This is how we should do it, you know? And I will disagree with them on the word perception, because this is a reality. We see it on Pine Power LI's channel. Explain to me, and explain to everybody else who's watching my channel, who almost has 900 subscribers, by the way. Pine Power LI has 2,000 subscribers. And it's because people want to see what's really going on. We see what's going on in the middle of the island. I've seen it. Matt Camper from Camper News has seen it. You know what's going on in the middle of Long Island. I was in Hicksville last week. I saw all the trash by one of my favorite places I've always gone as a kid, and that's the Broadway Diner. Disgusting what I had to see on 106, 107 the other day. And I'm not even going to get into politics right now because I'm just distraught what's going on here. That's for another time. We'll talk about politics then because we got to talk about some things. However, I will also agree, and I will bring this up in November. What should be done? What needs to be done? And what makes me mad is Philip Bank. And it also makes Pine Power LI angry because we saw 2 years ago on Pine Power LI's YouTube channel that people who were at Mineola were in fact taking the shuttle buses. Alright, we at least had the cheese. It was better than nothing. Bring that back at least. It's better than nothing. Patrick Nowakowski used to do it all the time. I hate to be a hypocrite here, folks, but just some kind of bus here. You know? I'm just flat right outraged what's going on. And they say call a place in Westbury. Oh, just use the Hampstead branch. Yeah, problem. If those people need to use those stations, then you're pretty much telling them, you know, if you rely on those stations, you're out of luck with the N22. Because the N22 doesn't go to Floral Park. So, I don't want to get into this today. I want to get into this in November. Because guess what, folks? Guess what? We have another meeting on November 12th. Can't make this stuff up. And by the way, I couldn't go to Bridges and Tunnels today. One quick thing. Because they started the meeting at 12:30. So I couldn't address my issue with the Henry Hudson Bridge. Alright? I couldn't even address that today. Alright? I'm upset with the Henry Hudson Bridge. You know, I may even bring it up in November. If I get lucky in November, I'll try to go to Bridges and Tunnels in November. And complain to them then. So, now that I got that little tidbit out of the way, we will now go on to my fellow colleague. And that is Mr. Jason Anthony Pinheiro, who represents the Passengers United Advocacy Group.
Good morning, Phil and Kathy. I'm back after a small health scare. First of all, I want you guys to address the minor development that happened on October 13th near Jamaica. No explanation was provided why this development happened, why the National Transportation Safety Board wasn't involved. One thing I want to say, we need more transparency. And that's one word that I'm going to say constantly, transparency. Because as a rider of New York City Transit, Metro North, and Long Island Railroad, I need transparency. And I know that I already spoke to some board members, but there's one in particular that doesn't represent the city, that is deaf in life. And that person represents Westchester County. And if you represent Westchester County, you need to be more vocal like everybody else. If you can't be vocal, step aside and let other people do your job. That's all I have to say.
So once again, that was my fellow colleague Jason Anthony Pinheiro, who we will be hearing from later on again. So, very good, valid points from Jason. Jason definitely discussed the word transparency. And the example for that word was, of course, the work train that derailed last Sunday, October 13th, east of Jamaica, which, by the way, we're still mad with the media that they didn't cover that. And the fact that News 12 Long Island the next morning, on the 14th, only had a 30-second video about it, which I don't even want to get into those people at Altice. Those corrupt people. I don't even want to get into it, but Jason also called out a board member today. So that was very, very good. I'm not going to say who it was because that's confidentiality, but I agree. If you're not going to be vocal, step aside. Leave. Cuomo can appoint another Westchester County person to represent the Metro North Railroad. Who is Cuomo appointing this board? That's what makes me mad. That's what makes me frustrated here. Because remember, folks, Andrew Cuomo appoints MTA members. So just remember that, okay? He could say, sorry, you go. Just like how Andy Byford was almost forced to resign. Which I will talk about him later on in this video. Because we do have to discuss Mr. Andy Byford. Alright? He's a very important person. Okay? Remember that. So we're not going to play Murray because Murray's going to make my agita even worse. Oh, and by the way, for Pine Power LI, very good bringing up a Yiddish term. Very good that he brought that up. That was pretty good for what John said today. I'm not going to say what that word was, but I'm going to mute the video for just a second. I'm just going to make sure that that Jason gets to go here. So let's watch Jason's comments from New York City Transit. And also one thing, Yuki was there today, surprisingly, but I'm not going to put Yuki's comments because we couldn't really understand what he was saying, but glad Yuki showed up. That's all I'm going to say. So let's watch Jason's comment.
Good morning, Andy Byford, and good morning, Sarah. I told you guys I was going to come today. I didn't fail. Andy, you know that you're an asset for New York City Transit. You are the one that's put New York City Transit up to date. Please don't leave us because we need you now than before. Because if you leave us, the system will collapse. And then we'll see the 70s and 80s. Decades that we don't want to see again. So I want to appreciate you, Andy, for all your efforts that you have done. And you know that you have all of my support from top to bottom. That will be your legacy from now on. And I want to make a small commentary for Sarah Feinberg and Veronica Vanderpool. Thank you for sending me those messages of recovery when I was in the hospital this past Thursday night. That was so encouraging for you girls, and you could count on my support like always. So let's keep it moving.
So once again, Jason, another good, valid point. Over the weekend, if you didn't hear, Daily News released an article saying that Andy Byford was going to resign last week from the MTA. But thankfully, somebody convinced him not to leave and rescind his resignation letter. And thank goodness, because the last thing we need is for Andy Byford to get out of here. All right, we don't want that. We want Andy to stay for many more years. I think Andy's definitely changed the idea of how NYCT should be. We've had more stuff going on. And, things have gotten better since Andy Byford came along. So far he's delivered. He did an excellent job in Toronto. And now he's bringing the same success to New York. So, Andy's doing a lot of good things right now. We cannot get rid of President Byford. He has to stay. Now, as far as Philip Bang is concerned, I don't know what I'm going to say about him. Because he's being a disappointment. That's all I'm going to say. He's sort of been a disappointment. At least it's better than Patrick Nowakowski, don't get me wrong, but, it's not the same as when Helena Williams was running the Long Island Railroad. Alright? So, now that we got NYCT out of the way, again, I'm not going to get into Kevin Zhang because I don't feel that is necessary due to time constraints. I'm trying to abbreviate this as much as I can today because, a lot was said, a lot was productive. I think today went very, very well in that regard, so let's make sure that we can get to Jason. Oh, folks, I didn't realize something here. Oh my goodness, Larry's wearing a neck brace? Wow, I feel bad for Larry. Oh my god, I really do feel bad for him. My condolences, Larry. I mean, my god. So, hope he's going to be okay. And just like how, again, Dr. Metzner, if you are watching, please, I hope you're coming back soon. I hope to see you in November. And again, I know some people don't like her, but again, she's very vocal for Metro North, so I don't want to see her leave. Just saying. And maybe Jason doesn't want to see her leave, but still, she's very important. Alright, so now let's watch Jason, and then we'll go to me.
One thing that I want to bring up this month is better to save money than spend what you don't have. Why is that? Because we're wasting, Larry, and this is no joke. We're wasting a lot of money and contracts and procurements without taking the examination if it's beneficial, if it gives us a poison, if the system's going to collapse. All of those things, Larry, we have to take them into consideration. Because we want a system that's healthy, that could benefit generations to come. For instance, my children, my grandchildren, so on. Why can't us do the work, save the money, and not do like the infamous Mr. X, money thrown away? So let's spend that money wisely, Larry. We're talking about $51.5 billion in the next capital plan. Let's see if we can spend it wisely.
So very good, valid points by Jason. And I was in that room this afternoon, all right? I heard him loud and clear, all right? And, it's a lot of wasteful money, and I completely agree with what Mr. X says. Mr. X says it validly. And I'm surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if he showed up on Wednesday, because the good thing about the board meeting on Wednesday is it's at 9 o'clock. There's no safety meeting this month, thankfully. I don't have to go to work until 10 on Wednesday. So, thankfully, I don't have to worry. Oh, is it going to run late? Is it going to run past 10? I got to clock in. Thankfully, I can watch the first hour and hopefully watch the public speakers. But, let's keep in mind here that overtime probably was discussed today. I don't know, because I have to watch the video, and hopefully it will be put up on Wednesday. Because the media seems to be making a big deal about it. Oh, sure, they are making... Oh, today we're going to talk about, what's going on. Why are we talking about overtime again? We've been talking about it for months. And Sunday night, overtime. Alfonso Castillo and Newsday, overtime. Lead story on Sunday's paper. Can't get more blatant than that. And Alfonso's just doing his job. He's a very good journalist. But it's fascination, folks. It just proves the point that the MTA loves to waste money. Love to waste our money. And trust me, we'll have the same Fairmageddon discussion in 2021. Because it will come in 2021. I guarantee you, my reduced fare is going to be $160. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm paying $160 for reduced fare in 2021. Wouldn't be surprised. Everybody else is going to have to pay $3. It's coming, folks. Fairmageddon's coming in a year and a half. You wait and see. Enjoy your $275 in 2020. Because once 2021 comes, it's going to be $3. I guarantee it. You wait. You wait and see. Money taking authority. Very good point by Mr. X. And by the way, Mr. X, I hope you're going to be at the meeting on Wednesday. Because you need to call these people out. And especially, you need to call out that glasses-wearing billionaire, Pat Foy. And also mention this, again, if you're in Lower Manhattan, next Wednesday, October 30th, in front of 2 Broadway, TWU Local 100 will be rallying in front of the MTA building to call out Pat Foy. And you know who will be doing that. Tony Utano. I know I won't be there because, again, I have to be at Northwell on Thursday because I'm trying to cut my hours. But I promised Northwell I would be around more in November. So I'm trying to be reasonable with them because I know I'm going to not be doing that much in December. So I'm making up a lot of hours in November, by the way. Alright. So I think now we're going to go to my comments from finance. Let's see if I can play it from here. We'll just mute it for a second because there was this lady who was talking about other things before me. Which, first of all, I was kind of surprised today that Lisa Daglian was absent today, but I'm sure she'll be around Wednesday. But if not, maybe we'll just see her in November. Because I was like, where's Lisa Daglian? I was wondering, like, where was she today? So, let's get to my comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. A lot of things I want to get off my chest. Number one, Ronnie Hakem, good luck on your future endeavors. Second, to President Byford, keep up the good work. Now, a couple things. Number one, found out about the homeless plan. Good that New York City's finally getting one. And I'll mention that Kew Gardens Union Turnpike needs a lot of police right now because the same vagrant who's been panhandling since January, you know who you are, was there this morning. But it's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about an idea for a pilot program for Long Island Railroad homeless outreach, which Kevin has brought up since last month, the idea of more police presence at Babylon, which is good because it's an end terminus. All right, very reasonable. But there are other stations that need patrols, I think, and I'm going to give a reasonable list. Mineola, Hicksville, Deer Park, Bethpage, and especially Wantaw. Now, why am I bringing up Wantaw? Well, because this past summer, I almost got into a confrontation with a homeless person, so that's why Wantaw should be considered in this pilot program. We have the elevator, and oh boy, it's a vagrant, folks. Look at this, spreading into Long Island too. Oh my God, guys, that was a homeless person. That was a homeless person. And lastly, we all know why we're here today. We're here to talk about overtime for the Long Island Railroad. I noticed the media is here today, which is a good sign. So, You all have a very productive meeting, and I hope this overtime thing will carry on for the rest of the afternoon and going into the full board on Wednesday.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the public speaking session.
All right. So let's summarize my comments. Number one, if you didn't hear, Ronnie Hakum's leaving the MTA later this month, so I had to congratulate her, for her big, I don't know where she's going to end up, but I think Ronnie has a good future ahead of her, so she's done good work. Sad to see her go. I know Jason had a very close relationship with her professionally, so it was very good that Jason had that bond over the past couple of years. And, I had to commend Andy. Because, again, I don't want to see him leave. You all know I don't want to see him leave. And I'm going to apologize to people who I may have offended today. I owe everybody who uses Kew Gardens Union Turnpike a sincere apology today. I just snapped. It happens. And again, I will go on the record. I called the cops on that guy in March. And he didn't do nothing. Here's a clip of the vagrant that I took back in February. It's all of them. It's all of them. It's panhandling. Not even going to get into that. But still, he shouldn't be there. He should not be there when people are getting off the Q46 and need to get on the subway. Shouldn't be there. And I mentioned I'm taking the F on Thursday. You know what I'm going to do on Thursday? I'm going to walk to 75th Avenue. I'm just going to take the F from 75th Avenue. Because I don't want to see that guy. I don't want to see him. Leave everybody alone. Go to Manhattan and panhandle. Get somebody to freaking... Sorry for saying that word. I don't care if I get demonetized. Freaking give you a swipe. Go to Manhattan. Panhandle there. Sorry to yell. But this is why on my Twitter, I say it. Cops in the subways. I want to see more cops at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. I like to see round-the-clock patrols. Right? There needs to be a uniformed police officer keeping an eye on everyone. It's not safe down there anymore. Not safe. He's aggressively panhandling. And again, he's been there since January. I didn't see him last year. He's still there. It made me angry. And as far as the homeless pilot, I hope they get it done. They have the money somewhere. They have to. They have to. Because right now, I'll mention something to you all. It's very important, all right? I didn't want to say this to everybody, but I'll mention it next month. Like Jason Goofy. Like I like how Jason can be goofy. That's one thing I like about him. I think that's a good characteristic for Jason. Get a good laugh. We like that. Some people don't like that, but I like that. Because we need some comedy in our lives. We need it. I could try to be funny sometimes, and not all the time, but my 24th birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. Alright? And it's like, I have to vent. I have to vent to somebody. Why not these people? I only get to do it once a month. I watch my language. I don't curse when I'm in an MTA boardroom. I know the rules of conduct. Well, I'm just annoyed. I'll mention that last week. I'm gonna pretty much say this right now. I think last week was the worst week of my life since Superstorm Sandy. I'm gonna hate to admit saying that, but it is the same sadness I had back in October of 2012 when I couldn't go to school for my senior year. Except, here's the thing. Things hit close to me at home. A police officer killed himself in my own neighborhood. Karen Kosowitz turned against everybody last week. And again, I'm sorry to call her out. I'm sorry to rant. But try being in my shoes. Okay? You know, the best thing about today was I at least got to walk home. I had the privilege to walk home from Utopia Parkway today because the Q17 was crowded. I had the privilege of getting a free ride on the Long Island Railroad today because they cross-honored my Metro card. You know, you're lucky I can take the railroad again this week on Thursday. All I'm just going to say is Thursday I'm going to a place that's going to make me happy. Because the weather cooperates with it. And you'll see the video next week. Because after the stressful week I had last week, with the cop killing himself here in Fresh Meadows, with Karen Kosowitz screwing over everybody in Kew Gardens, including the subway riders who use the Kew Gardens Union Turnpike Station, you know, enough was enough. You know, I'm glad I got it all out of my system. The next month, they're going to put up with me again, and I'm going to discuss with them how idiotic the shuttle bus plan is. I'm going to get into it with them, because they have an obligation financially to do something about shuttle buses. You know? I will discuss how they can work it out with NICE, with TransDev. You know, people have to take Crazy Bus. I don't know how that's going to work out, because remember what Pine Power said. You cannot rely on Crazy Bus. That's why it's called Crazy Bus. And just like how First Grade Bus Corporation, which by the way is Queens Village, First Grade Bus Corporation, the Q27 was overcrowded today in Flushing. Jamaica Depot was decent. I gotta admit something. They run the Q30 route a whole lot better. They do. I'll give them credit on that. Sorry to get my emotions out, folks, but be in my shoes. See how everything in your home borough gets crumbled in 1 week? See how a police officer kills himself? Oh, and by the way, not to mention, I've been freaking out about my ex-girlfriend Laura all day today. Because she had a mental breakdown at work. She hasn't texted me since I was having lunch today. So after this video, I gotta give her a call because I've been on the fritz today because of that. I'm not gonna get into more information about that. You know? Alright. Before I really lose a gasket, we'll wrap it up with CPOC, and we'll try to find Jason's comment, hopefully. I'll try to see if I can find it here. I'm hoping I can find it somewhere. Yeah, so let's just quickly see if Jason did speak at CPOC. Looks like Jason did. So I think to wrap this up, we'll just watch Jason's comment, and we'll get right to CPOC. And after that, I'll give my final thoughts, and then I'll conclude this month's video. And again, very abbreviated this month. We've been recording now for how long? Oh, only 40 minutes. Okay, so not that long, I guess. Not that long. So we're going to go to here. And I also mentioned I got the video in 1080 today. So thankfully, you're on a high-def television. You'll notice that the video was 1080 today. Again, I'm not doing 30 frames because I've been getting complaints from people that in the past that, oh, why are you doing 60 FPS? Well, let me just put this on mute because I don't know what's going on here.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Ronnie. going to be very brief. It's going to be regarding PTC. As you guys know, New Jersey Transit Corporation, on its meeting on Wednesday, did a very vague report regarding positive train control. So, Jano, I saw your report this morning. I loved it. If NJT did it the way that you do, I will be more impressed. But those of west of Hudson are right now in an uncertainty. Why? Because NJT doesn't provide the information that you, Jano, provide over here. Timelines, information of by when everything's gonna be done, not NJT. NJT just provides like minimal information here and there, but not complete. But I want to hats off for you, Jano, and your team in this effort. And I'll see you guys Wednesday morning.
Alright, so once again, Jason Anthony Pinheiro. Very good that he discussed the PTC. I do apologize, post-nasal trip. I have my ceiling fan on today because it's so warm out there today. It's like in the mid-60s. I had a good walk home. But staying on topic, Jason. Very good that he brought up the PTC. And Jano Lieber, you know, he needs to stay on the MTA board because he is, I think, the most transparent person next to Andrew Albert and next to Dr. Metzner and Veronica Vanderpool. It's like I commend. Well, there's Kevin who always speaks, but we all know the games he plays. But yeah, I mean, Jano is a key ally for the Long Island Railroad. He's always vocal. And, you know, if Jason is saying what he's saying about New Jersey, then Kevin Corbett for New Jersey Transit, shame on you, man. Shame on you, you know. You have to be transparent, and especially how you have to report to Governor Phil Murphy in New Jersey. Jano has to report to Governor Andrew Cuomo here in New York. So, Jano's been around for a very long time. He's a big public factor. And the best part about Jano is we get to see him on Wednesday, and we get to see him in 2 weeks on November 12th. You can't make this stuff up. It's just completely unprecedented. Oh, boy, you know, this is exactly the positivity that we need. So let's keep seeing Jason more at these meetings, like he always shows up. I'll be around for finance, depending on time constraints. Again, who knows? Maybe NYCT will end at noon every month, and maybe finance could start at 1 o'clock, so that way I can go to Penn Station from Wall Street. Because that's how I got back to Penn today. I took the 2 and the 3, which was the first stop in Manhattan. And I learned my lesson next time, folks. I'm not going to Wall Street. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to take the 2 and the 3 from Fulton. Because Fulton's actually a 10-minute walk. Fulton Street's like a 10-minute walk, thankfully. So I might do that next time. Thankfully, I know how to get back to Fulton Street. So, I think with everything that I've just said, I'm going to wrap up this video. So, thank you all very much for watching. And until the next one, please take care.